Hi, this is Martin Van Buren from Getting Stuff Done, and in this video we're going to be teeing off an existing MDPE pipe right where I'm standing here, digging this up, and then we're going to be teeing off with MDPE fittings, running MDPE pipes across to putting in a new pop-up sprinkler on the other side using all of this. So let's jump straight in. Right, so right where I'm standing here, there's an existing MDPE pipes that run underneath here that goes to my different zones for my pop-up sprinklers. What I want to do is one of the zones I want to add a sprinkler. So we're going to dig up here, we're going to identify which is the right pipe because I've always marked my pipes, and then we're going to be adding a 20mm T, which is one of these, running 20mm MDPE pipes across. And at the other end, we're going to be adding a pop-up sprinkler. In the pipes themselves, we'll use these little inlets just to make the strengthen the joints. That'll simply slot into that side like this. All of the products that we've used, I've added some links in the description below. Right, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna dig up here and identify which is the pipe that we're gonna be running off.
A couple of tips. When you lay your pipes, it's always good to add markers, color markers if you've got more than one pipe, so that you know exactly where your zones go. It also means if you have to dig up any of it, you don't have to dig for miles and miles to try and find which pipe goes where. So what I've got is I use just electrical tape. So I've dug a little bit back to where I can see a little markers like these are the yellow lines. I'm doing a black line for my sprinklers. The difference between my sprinklers is these orange ones are for the grass and have a higher flow rate, so more water comes out. They're on a different timer, so I can set, say, maybe once or twice a week less for the grass. The flowers you want to do more regularly, so I put that on a different timer. So I've gone back and found out exactly which pipe is my black zone that I want to cut today. I'm going to add a little tape here as an identifier where I've dug. Cutter. I'm going to double check that I'm using the right. Yeah, that's my black zone. So I want to add on a T from this pipe running through to the flower bed over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this pipe through like that. Nice thing about these pipe cutters is they cut nice and clean. If you don't have that, secateurs or something like that will work. You have to work it a little bit. Just pop it on the side, hold it and sort of spin it around, and it will create a nice clean cut as well. If you use a sort of a hacksaw, it does tend to leave little bits there, and you don't really want that getting into your system and clogging up your sprayers. Now, these are the 20mm MDPE pipe fittings that I'm going to be using to tee off and run my new pipe, which is this one here, down to the sprinkler. So the nice thing about the fittings, there is another video where I'll show you how to fit these. You don't actually have to unscrew them. You can just slot them in. I'll quickly do that now. So what I do is got a little inline, little fitting there. That just gives the pipe a little bit more strength. This then just slots in. You just open them halfways, slot them in. You'll feel they go in once, push them again, they go in twice, and then I tighten that up, try and aim it in the direction I want to go there. Second one here. Now, normally if I was doing this, I might add, say, cut a little more off here, but there's enough pipe here that I can go left or right to take up the slack, so I'm not going to bother cutting this piece any shorter. Pop in a inline to that one as well. The reason I use gloves is because these things really, when you tighten them up, hurt your hands. I'll grab some pliers in a bit. All right, put that in, same as the other one. Tighten this up as far as I can go. Okay, that'll go on from there. Right, next, I'm gonna grab my these little babies. Now, I do have two of these, and the reason is I can grab one on each side to tighten up. So I'll start with one and just see how we get on. There we go. Same with this one. Make sure it's nice and tight. Right, that is where I'm going to do my fitting now. So I'm going to grab my pipe. There's another video where you can see exactly how to unroll one of these things. What you don't want to do is you don't just want to pull it like that because you end up with a spiral. Check out that video and you'll see exactly how to do this. For now, I'm going to cut this. 1, 2, 3, 4. I only need about 3 meters of the pipe. Now, one thing I tend to do, keep the caps on because you don't want dirt in your pipes when you roll them along. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run this along and just quickly check if I've got enough
Right, it's going to work perfectly. So what we'll do is we'll do the connection here, and then I'll show you on that side what we're going to do. Right, plug off here. One of the liners, I always tend to get that out. I don't know if you can see there, but that is not a great cut on the end there. So I'm going to recut that just so that I get a nice square cut. Give that a little cut over there. See, now I've got a nice clean cut there. That sits nice and square. Pop this in over here. Now, again, you just do this halfway, slot in and push. And there we go, tighten that up. Tighten that up. Nice, okay. Now we're gonna run this pipe through to the other side, and then I'll swing you around so you can see what's going on this side. Right, so what we're gonna do now is get all our fittings and stuff together there. I've already pre-dug a trench all the way around. This is a bed that we're eventually going to extend, so I want to put these little sprinklers about here, and then we'll probably do a meandering boundary for the flowers here. Right, so for the pop-up sprinkler that we're going to add at the other end, what we're going to use is one of these 20mm elbows. This runs into a 1/2 inch threaded male, and then that simply is what you add your pop-up sprinkler on the top. You don't need any Teflon tape on here. It'll actually tell you on here on the sprinkler itself that you don't need that plumber's tape basically, and then you're just going to be adding that sprinkler on like that. Just one thing, when you do add these ones, make sure that you don't tighten it too fast, because what will happen if I open that up, it's got a little seal in there that kind of seals everything off. If you screw in too hard, this is going to pop through and you're going to damage the sprinkler, so it'll end up leaking. Right, for the sprinklers that I'm using, these are actually clavers. These 4-inch pop-up sprinklers. What that means is about that much above, so 10 centimeters is how far these sprinkler heads will pop up. These particular ones are 0 to 350. So you can actually adjust them to, if I just want to spray, say, a particular area into the flower beds and not spray the grass for this particular zone, then I can really easily set that, which is quite great. But you get lots of different types. You can check out, there's another video where I explain all the components that you need for pop-up sprinklers. We want to make sure the level of our sprinkler needs to be, that was the grass, top like that, and then we've got another little fitting that we'll put over the top. These little collars, they guard collars, they slide in from the bottom. The guard collars that we're going to be putting on here, the purpose of the guard collars really is to keep the sand and the grit out of the mechanism, right? So it does add a little bit of protection, obviously, when you're cutting your lawn, because over time when your grass grows, this soil kind of lifts, and also with earthworms and that kind of thing, the soil is constantly moving, and so to stop that grit and stuff getting into your mechanisms here, you add a little guard collar, and that will just add the necessary protection. In terms of depth, you want to make sure that these are sort of level with your soil. So at the moment I need to go a little bit deeper over here wherever we're going to do it. So what I'll do first is just going to lay that pipe all the way in the trench. I'll weigh it down in the trench itself. Okay, right, so now we can roughly work out where our sprinkler is going to be. Just looking at the other ones further down there, I'm going to put that sprinkler about here. So same principle, grab my cutters, give that a cut, boom. Then remember to put your little liner in. So open that halfway, slot my sprayer in, give it a little twirl. I'm going to stop till I can see where it's nice and straight up, and then I'm going to grab my pliers, open that up a bit, tighten that up. There we go. Right, I'm going to have to go slightly deeper here. The entire pipe doesn't need to go the entire pipe at that depth. You can angle the pipe so that the last part of your sprinkler is actually at that depth. The rest of it, you just want to do it that it's deep enough. Or if you are aerating your soil, or digging with a pitchfork if you're in your flower beds, you want it to be deep enough that you don't damage your pipes. So let's do this last part of the digging and get the sprinkler in. Now I'll use a nice narrow one, because that gets me, I don't have to dig like too much to get in there. Once we've got this all fitted in, remember it's always a good idea to test your pipes for leakages before you actually cover up your trenches. So let's start filling that in. Just
Need something so I can get my height. Yeah, I'll be happy. Can't see my spade anywhere. The rake will do for now. Just going to push that in and then I'll stomp that down in a bit. That is pretty much it. Right, let's speed this up a bit. Otherwise we are going to be here all day. This is my grass sprinkler here. I've just weighed this down with a brick for now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that upright. That is roughly the height that I want to aim for over there. And then I'll just compact everything else around my sprinkler. Now again, I've added tape on all of my pipes over here as well. So if I'm ever need to identify pipes, I know exactly which ones are which. Running out of daylight. Make sure I'm at the right height because I don't want to damage the sprinkler on the lawnmower. Take the bricks out. Right, and then I can start working back my nicer soil. And then I'll sow some grass seed on this.
In the last series, you can check out how to overseed and level your garden.
Because I'm going to be laying another pipe sprinkler system from here that way, I'm just going to use a tree stump, put it over the pipes here as a placeholder, cover this up, and then I can carry on that way. All that's left, put a couple of these little caps onto there. Nice. One on this side. I'll put some finer soil on the rest tomorrow, just serve some soil. And then I'll sow some grass seed on this.
Right, that's it for today. If that was helpful, give us a thumbs up, give us a like. All of the products that we've used, I've added some links in the description below. Drop us some comments there if this was helpful, or if you've got some useful tips for people. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. That's it for today. Bye.